we are continuing with the third unit of 10th class, that is metals and non-metals. Now we are doing textbook questions. Question number 1 is name one liquid metal. So we have three liquid metals. They are mercury, cesium, and one more metal we are having in the liquid state, that is gallium. Then we have the question, explain the meaning of malleability and ductility. Malleability means the hammering of a metal into sheets, and ductility is the drawing of that metal in the wire form. So ductility deals with the conversion of metal into wire, malleability deals with the conversion of metal into metal sheets. Then we have why sodium is kept immersed in kerosene oil. Kerosene oil cuts the supply of oxygen and atmospheric gases, against which sodium metal and potassium metal they are highly active. Therefore, to cut the supply of oxygen and nitrogen as well as carbon dioxide, the kerosene sodium metal is kept in kerosene oil. Potassium metal is also kept to protect it against the accidental fire also, because sodium metal react vigorously with the moisture of the air and produces hydrogen gas. It reacts vigorously with the oxygen. The hydrogen gas sometimes catches fire due to its violent action. Then we have the next question, write equations of the reactions iron reacting with steam. So we have iron reacting with steam, write reaction of iron with the steam. So iron reacts with steam, producing magnetic oxide of hydrogen, iron. Along with that, it produces hydrogen gas. So this is the reaction of iron with steam. Then we have the next question, reaction of calcium with water. We have done this reaction already. Calcium reacts with 2 water, producing calcium hydroxide. It is also called as milk of lime, and hydrogen gas is produced during this reaction. Then he says, write reaction of potassium with water. So potassium also produces hydroxide. These metals are actually called as alkali metals, potassium, sodium, because they react with water to produce alkalis and hydrogen gas. Now how do iron reacts with iron sulfate? If you are having a iron sulfate solution in one beaker, this is iron sulfate. It is added with iron rod. So in this case, no reaction will take place. Whatever iron will go in the solution, that will come back again in the form of solid metal on the rod. Then we have another, if we add copper to this solution, to iron sulfate solution, no reaction again. If we add zinc to this solution, then reaction will take place, displacement reaction will take place. And zinc, due to its high activity, then iron, it will definitely displace ferrous from the solution, and itself will come in the solution in the form of zinc sulfate, and iron will be liberated by displacement reaction. Then if you add iron, then you add copper, you have added copper. If you add silver to this solution, silver will again give no reaction with it. So this was our first question. We were having ferrous sulfate solution, we added 4 metals to it, we added iron rod, no reaction take place. Then we added copper rod, no reaction, added zinc, displacement reaction was shown, added silver, again there is no reaction. Then we are having next solution, that is copper sulfate solution. We are adding zinc rod. Displacement reaction will be shown. Then we add to it second iron rod. Again displacement reaction, both of these metals, they are more reactive than copper, will displace copper. Then we add to it the silver rod. No reaction will take place in the case of silver also. Then we add copper to it. No reaction, because whatever copper goes in the solution, it will form equilibrium with that. Then we have third solution, that is zinc sulfate. We added iron to it. No reaction. Copper, silver, no reaction. They cannot displace zinc because of its high reactivity. Then we come to these three metals. They are added to zinc sulfate solution. Then we add zinc, no reaction. So this is the only metal where none of the reaction can be shown. Then we have in the fourth beaker, we are having silver nitrate. So in this case, zinc, iron, copper, they will all show displacement rates. They will all displace silver from the solution, and will also, because they are all reactive than silver. So now we come to here, which of the metal is more reactive in out of these four metals. Zinc is highly reactive, then comes the term of iron, then comes the term of copper, and silver is least reactive. So this is the order of reactivity. So this is our question number 4. Then we have, which gas is produced when dilute hydrochloric acid reacts with iron or dilute sulfuric acid? Both of the reactions are same. We treat iron with HCl, we get FeCl2 plus hydrogen gas. If we treat iron with sulfuric acid, again we get FeSO4 plus hydrogen gas. So hydrogen gas is produced by reaction of iron with HCl or H2SO4. Then we have the next question. What do you observe when zinc is added to solution of iron sulfate? We have already answered this question. Zinc will displace iron from iron sulfate. Write electron dot structure of the formation of Na2O. So Na2O, when it is formed, Na is having two sodium, they have 2 electrons to donate, and they are donated to 1 oxygen. So it will be, structure is like Na2 positive charge, Na2O. So 2 Na, they are having positive charge here, and they are combining with oxygen, which is having 2 negative charge. So this is sodium oxide. Then we have magnesium oxide. Again the structure is similar. Magnesium is also single. It is having 2 electrons. The electrons are donated to oxygen. Oxygen was having 6 electrons. Both the electrons, they are coming towards oxygen. It is forming Mg2 positive. This is a magnesium oxide. So this is the electron dot structure of these two compounds. Then we have, why do ionic compound have high melting point? Ionic compound possess high melting point. It is because of the strong ionic bonding between oppositely charged ions. That's why they possess high melting point. Then we have the question, what are mineral, ores and gangue? Mineral, these are the combined state of the elements from which metal may or may not be extracted economically, while ores are those minerals from which metal is extracted economically. And then we have gangue or matrix. These are the impurities which are associated with the ore, and they are to be extracted first of all before the metallurgy, before the metal extraction. Then we have the name the two metals which are found in the free state, which are found in the native state in the nature. They are gold, platinum, and copper. What chemical process is used for obtaining a metal from its oxide? To obtain metal from its oxide, metal oxide is reduced to metal by heating it with carbon monoxide, or sometime with hydrogen, sometime it is electrolytically reduced, as is done in case of the aluminium metallurgy. Al2O3 is electrically reduced. Then we have the which chemical process is used for obtaining metal from metal oxide? We have explained this question. Metal oxides of zinc, magnesium and copper, they are heated with following metals. If zinc oxide is heated with zinc, nothing will happen. Magnesium oxide heated with zinc, zinc will definitely take up oxygen from the magnesium due to its more electropositive character. Magnesium will not attack on MgO. Similarly, copper will not attack. Then we have copper oxide heated with zinc, magnesium and copper. Copper will not exert any effect, but zinc and magnesium, they will withdraw oxygen from the copper oxide, they will show the displacement reaction. Which metals do not corrode easily? Metals which are placed at the bottom of the activity series, they are the copper, silver and mercury. They will not be attacked by the rust. What are alloys? Alloys are the homogeneous mixture of two or more metals. The quality of alloys, they are always better than the quality of their metal. They have less melting point as compared to pure metals, and they have the good quality. They sometimes they are not rusted easily. Which of the following pair will have the displacement reaction? Na solution, NaCl solution is dipped with copper metal. So copper metal, no displacement reaction will be shown. MgCl2 solution added with aluminium metal, no displacement reaction because of the more activity of magnesium than aluminium. Similarly, ferrous sulfate solution and silver metal, they are brought in contact. Silver cannot supply electron to ferrous, that's why no reaction will take place here. AgNO3 and copper metal, they are brought together. The copper will start supplying electron to silver, and silver will get reduced, copper will get oxidized. So here will be a displacement reaction. Which of the following method is suitable for preventing iron of an iron in a fry pan from rusting? So we will be applying the coating or coating of zinc. Although it is reactive, we generally apply coating of the tin on the metal article to prevent it from the rusting. An element reacts with oxygen to give compound which has high melting and boiling point. The compound is also soluble in water, and it is also used in the preparation of cement. So that element can be calcium. When reacts with oxygen, it produces CaO. We have shown this reaction. It is also called as quicklime. CaO is called as quicklime. It dissolves in water, produces milk of lime, that is calcium hydroxide. And when calcium hydroxide is heated, it will decompose to give you CaO plus H2O. And CaO, 60 to 65% CaO is used in the preparation of cement. It is called as calcareous material of the cement. Now food cans are coated with tin, not with the zinc. Because zinc is a highly reactive metal, it will react with the food particles, therefore it is not coated on the internal side of the zinc food cans. Then we have food might react with zinc. And then you are given a hammer, a battery, a bulb, wire and switch. How will you use it for differentiation of metal from a non-metal? So when metal is hammered by a heavy hammer, it will change into sheet. This property is called as malleable. And then we can see do the conductivity experiment of metal and non-metal by using your battery and the switch and the bulb. The metal, they will conduct, bulb will glow in the complete circuit, but non-metal, they will not conduct at all. Then we have the question, what are amphoteric oxide? We have already explained this question. Amphoteric oxides, these are the oxides of aluminium and zinc. Al2O3 and ZNO, they are called as amphoteric oxides because they have the characteristics of both. They behave as acidic as well as basic compound. Al2O3 and ZNO, they can combine with both acid as well as bases. They combine with acids. Aluminium will produce 2NaAlO2, sodium meta-aluminate. Zinc will produce Na2, 2NaZNO2, that is sodium zincate. On reaction with NaOH, on reaction with HCl, it will produce AlCl3, it will produce ZnCl2. So in this manner they will react with these compounds. Then we have the name two metal which can displace hydrogen from dilute acids. All the metals which are present above hydrogen in the activity series, they are zinc, iron, nickel, lithium, potassium, cesium, barium, calcium. All these metals, when they react with inorganic acids or organic acids, they liberate hydrogen. Then we have in electrolytic refining of a metal, what would we take as anode and cathode? So in electrolytic refining of a metal, the impure metal is made as anode, and pure metal in the form of thin bar, it is used as a cathode. So when electrolysis is carried out by using suitable electrolyte of the metal to be refined, then the metal from anode it go on dissolving in the solution, and from solution it will go on depositing at cathode. So in this manner the impurities of anode they will get collected at the bottom of the anode, they are called as anode mud, while pure metal from anode it will get deposited at the cathode. This is also called as the electrolytic refining of the metal. Then we have one student took sulfur powder on a spatula and heated it. He collected a gas evolving in the inverted gaseous tube, and he tested this gas with dry litmus paper and moist litmus paper. So when a person heats or a student heats the sulfur with oxygen, it will produce sulfur dioxide gas. The sulfur dioxide gas being acidic, it will not affect dried litmus paper, but it will affect the your moist litmus paper, and that litmus paper will turn from blue to red. Since acids they turn blue litmus to red, but it will not affect if litmus is red. State two ways which are used to prevent rusting. Number one, barrier protection by coating the iron surface with paints or grease or oil. Sometimes they are coated with zinc, which is called as galvanization. Sometimes they are sacrificially protected. They are attached with some active metal like magnesium, which loses electron in preference to iron and prevents iron from rusting. As long as it remains there, we can also use galvanization, covering of the metal article with zinc, that is also preventing the rusting. Then what type of oxides are formed from non-metal when they combine with the oxygen? Sulfur non-metal, carbon non-metal, phosphorus non-metal. When they combine with oxygen, they produce SO2, CO2, P4O10, P4O5, P4O6. So these oxides they are acidic in nature. When they are dissolved in water, they will produce acid like H2SO3, H2CO3, and phosphoric acid. Then what type of oxides are formed from metals? Metals when heated with oxygen, they form basic oxides. These oxides when dissolved in water, they produce hydroxides. Then give the reason. Platinum, gold and silver, they are used to make jewelry. Why not other metals? Since they are highly non-reactive metals, they do not react with the oxygen of the atmosphere and other gases which are present in the air, or they do not react with moisture. That's why their sign is maintained. They don't get tarnished on exposure to the atmospheric air. That's why they are used in the preparation of jewelry. Sodium, potassium and lithium, they are stored in kerosene oil. It is only to prevent their action against the atmospheric gases like oxygen, your halogen gases, carbon dioxide, etc., because they are highly active metals. Then aluminium is highly reactive metal, yet it is used to make utensils for cooking. Aluminium, of course, is highly reactive metal, yet it is used in the preparation of utensils. It is easy to reduce oxides of these metal into carbonates and sulfides of metal. And aluminium is good conductor of electricity. Aluminium forms a layer of aluminium oxide on its surface at high temperature, after which it resists the corrosion. So it prevents corrosion. So it does not get rusted easily and does not react with the food. That's why it is used in the preparation of utensils. Then you must be seen the tarnished copper vessel being cleaned with lemon or tamarind juice. लेमन जूस से उसको साफ़ किया जाता है, और इट इज़ क्लीन्ड बाय टैमरिंड जूस, इमली के जूस से उसको साफ़ किया जाता है. व्हाट डू दी सोर्स सब्सटेंसेस डू? दे सप्लाई citric acid in case of tamarind, in case of the lemon. Citric acid reacts with the copper carbonate which is formed on the surface of copper as a result of rusting, and it reacts with copper carbonate producing copper citrate, carbon dioxide and water. Copper citrate that is washed away when we wash the utensils, therefore utensil get cleaned up. Similarly, copper carbonate when washed with tamarind juice, it supplies tartaric acid which converts copper into copper tartrate, and this copper tartrate is washed away when a utensil is washed. So in this manner, our utensils, they can be cleaned which get rusted. They can be cleaned by applying lemon juice and by applying the your tartaric acid or tamarind juice. Then differentiate between metal and non-metal. We have done this difference with number of points. Still we are doing. Metal, they react with acid producing hydrogen gas which is quite inflammable and burns with a pop sound, while non-metal, they do not displace hydrogen at all on reaction with acids. Metals, when react with oxygen, they produce basic oxide, while non-metal react with oxygen, they are producing acidic oxide. Metal form ionic halides, ionic chlorides with chlorine. The ionic chlorides are non-volatile substances, while non-metal, they produce the covalent chlorides on reaction with chlorine, and these chlorides are generally volatile. They generally tend to remain in the vapor state. Now a man offers you to clean your jewelry and you are trapped in his trap. You give your jewelry to clean it up. He puts that jewelry in a specific type of solution having in its his container, and after some time when you notice the weight of the jewelry item that is reduced. So what has happened to your jewelry? So when a person takes up your jewelry and puts it in the solution, that solution is actually aqua regia. Aqua regia is prepared by mixing 3 part HCl with 1 part nitric acid. When HCl combines with nitric acid, it liberates nascent chlorine. This nascent chlorine remains dissolved in the aqua regia, and when your gold article or platinum article, noble metal article is put in this aqua regia solution, then noble metal starts combining with that halogen and gets converted into gold chloride or platinum chloride, and these chlorides, they get dissolved in its solution. So weight of your jewelry is reduced, although it gets shining appearance, but your gold is lost. So never come to such promises that you are getting the clearing of that jewelry. You should not do that. Now give reasons why copper is used to make hot water tanks, not the steel. Steel is not used to make the hot water tanks because steel is a not so good conductor as copper is. Therefore, copper is used in preparation of hot water tanks as well as in the other electrical equipments. Because of its high conductivity, copper metal is generally used in such type of conductivity purposes. Now identify most reactive metal among aluminium, potassium, copper and gold. So out of these 4 metal, potassium is highly reactive and gold is the least reactive. We know it is a metal, your noble metal. Then we have the question, why do silver ornament lose their shine when kept for some time? They get tarnished on exposure to atmospheric gases. They get converted into the Ag2S. This is black colored substance, so its shining is lost. Then identify the most reactive metal among copper, iron and zinc. Zinc is most reactive metal because it lies high up in the activity series. Now give the method used to reduce oxide of a highly reactive metal. Highly reactive metal cannot be reduced by heating with carbon or carbon dioxide. They are reduced electrolytically and for purification purposes. Name a non-metal which conducts electricity. So graphite, it is an allotrope of carbon having free electron, that's why it can conduct electricity. An element X reacting with oxygen produces X2O. This oxide dissolves in water, turns blue litmus red. So blue litmus red, you keep in mind ABR. A stands for acid, B for blue, R for red, ABR. So acidic oxide turns blue litmus red. So it might be a non-metal and its oxide has turned blue litmus red. Name one metal and one non-metal which exist in the liquid state. Metal is mercury, gallium or cesium. Non-metal is bromine which exists in the liquid state. Then we have the name the metal which has very low melting point and can melt with the heat of your palm. These are gallium and cesium. They have very low melting point due to weak metallic bonding in their metallic lattice. Now tell one amphoteric oxide. We have mentioned 2 amphoteric oxide, Al2O3 and ZNO. They are amphoteric oxide. Name one metal which reacts with dilute HNO3 to produce hydrogen gas. Magnesium can react with dilute HNO3. Zinc can react with dilute HNO3 to produce hydrogen gas. If there are more than four electrons in the valence shell, whether it is a non-metal or metal. Generally, non-metal, they are having four or more than four electrons in their compound, and they prefer to form ionic compounds by gaining the electron deficiency, which are with the number gaining electrons equal to 8 minus their valence electrons. What kind of compound? They are called as ionic compound. The compound which are having oppositely charged ions, positive and negative ion, they are called as ionic compound. What is metallurgy? Metallurgy involves the extraction of metal from its ore. It involves three major steps: concentration of the ore, then second is extraction of the metal, third is refining of the metal. Then an element form oxide A2O3, which is acidic in nature. Identify A in the oxide. It is a non-metal because non-metal oxide, they are acidic in nature. Write chemical equation which will indicate the combination of your aluminium with MnO2 to liberate manganese by displacement reaction. So 3MnO2 combines with aluminium, giving you Al2O3 plus 3Mn is produced. This is a displacement reaction. Now differentiate between roasting and calcination. Roasting involves the heating up of the sulfide ore with oxygen, excess of oxygen, which converts sulfide ore into oxide ore. While calcination, it is generally done for carbonate ores and for the hydrated ores to convert them into oxide ores. So roasting involves heating of the ore with oxygen, as we see in our daily life. Roasted chicken, the chicken which is roasted, which is heated, which is prepared in the excess of air by heating it in the overheat. Then calcination which is involving heating in the absence of air. So these are the two techniques. Roasting converts the sulfide ores into their oxide ores. We have 4FeS2 heated with 11O2, it is getting converted into oxide ore, and 8 sulfur dioxides are produced. Similarly, zinc oxide ore, it is heated with oxygen, you will get 2ZNO plus 2SO2. So this is sulfur dioxide gas produced here, 3O2 they are heated. And calcination is conversion of carbonate ore into oxide. When it is heated, we get FeO plus CO2. Similarly, we can have CaCO3, it is heated, get converted to calcium oxide, and CO2. Alumina ore also on heating can lose water and can change into Al2O3 plus 2 water. So this is the way how calcination is performed. Then we have what is 24 karat gold. How will you convert it into 18 karat gold? 24 karat gold is a pure gold. To convert it into 18 karat gold, 6 parts of the your copper or silver that is mixed with 18 parts of the gold will get 18 karat gold. Why sodium is kept in kerosene oil? We have already answered this question. Then we have zinc does not evolve hydrogen on reacting with HNO3. Nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. It oxidizes hydrogen produced from reaction with zinc, and that changes into water. That's why we don't see the evolution of hydrogen. Give 4 general properties of ionic compound. We have already studied that property. They exist in the solid state, they are soluble in polar solvents, and then they have high melting and boiling point. They are good conductor of heat and electricity. They are good conductor in the aqueous or molten state. How do properties of iron change when a small quantity of carbon is mixed with it? Iron become hard on mixing with carbon. It is due to the formation of interstitial compound where carbon get trapped in the cavities formed between iron atoms. So it is a highly improved quality of iron. Iron become hard and rust free on mixing it with the carbon, nickel or chromium in the form of alloys. Then we have why do silver article turn black? It is due to formation of Ag2S. On their surface they turn black. And then list four important properties of aluminium which are responsible for its great demand in the industry. So it is malleable, it is ductile, it is good conductor of heat as well as electricity. Then a metal X combines with Y by transferring electron to Y. What kind of bond it is likely to be formed? So when a element transfers electron from its valence shell to the valence shell of other element, the compound produced is ionic compound and bond form is ionic bond. Then how mercury is extracted from sulfide or cinnabar or HGS is cinnabar. HGS when heated with oxygen it changes into HGO plus SO2. HGO on heating produces Hg plus oxygen. So in this manner sulfur gets separated from there. So these are the additional questions which we have done along with these metals and non-metals. So this is all about our topic, unit number 3 of the 10th class. Tomorrow we'll take up with the fourth unit, that is carbon and its compound, or in other words we'll be taking the organic chemistry, first unit of organic chemistry. Thank you very much.